Our source to start us off tonight is New York Republican Congressman Mike Lawler. And Congressman, for the uninitiated in the ways of Washington, a so-called rule vote is usually done along party lines. In this session of Congress, though, 7 of these votes have failed at the hands of your party. What does it say about Republicans' ability to govern or to not be able to govern if you can't get a rule passed?
Well, obviously, given the margins that we have, there's very little room for error on any of these votes. On this particular issue, about 90% of the base bill, there's agreement on within the conference. The question today was about amendments and process. And obviously, you had 19 people take down the rule because they objected in one form or fashion. It is certainly frustrating, especially, for someone like me coming from a district that I do, that Joe Biden won by 10 points, that has 80,000 more Democrats than Republicans. I'm here to govern. And I know the vast majority of my colleagues share in that. And so the question for all of us is, you're not going to get everything you want. We're in a divided government, number one. Number two, we have a very small majority. And so you have to find compromise. You have to be willing to recognize that you're not going to get everything you want. And so, from my vantage point, to continually try to take down rules or block legislation from moving forward does nothing to advance the cause and, in fact, undermines the majority.
It sounds like a message for someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I mean, you just heard what she said, that she's spoken with the most of the people that she's spoken with agree with her letter threatening to remove Speaker Johnson. I mean, do you agree with that?
No, and I don't think the vast majority of the conference does. Certainly, we have people who may be frustrated in one form or fashion with respect to the position of the majority of the conference. But the reality is this: you have to compromise. And so, from my perspective, if the lesson of October was not learned and we advance another motion to vacate, all it will do is ensure a Republican minority come January 2025. We have a responsibility to govern. Yes, duke it out, fight it out on policy, fight it out on the issues you believe in. That's fine. That is what we are in. We are in a republic. We are elected to represent our districts. We are elected to fight for these issues, to negotiate, to debate. But ultimately, you have to advance legislation and get it across the finish line. And that's what we were elected to do. And so while some may not like this or that, that's life. Get over it.
Well, we'll see how many times that gets replayed. Congressman, you just talked about the district that you're from. New York obviously held its primary last week. Did you vote for Donald Trump in that, by the way?
I voted in the primary, and I did vote for the former president, yes.
Okay, thank you, Congressman. Let me ask you about another issue that I know is important to you, and that we've been talking about how much the U.S. spends on funding the Israeli military. We've seen more and more of your Democratic colleagues in the House saying that Prime Minister Netanyahu must go, that he can't lead Israel. Do you agree with those criticisms? What do you make of those?
Look, I think it's shameful what Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi have done over the last 2 weeks, caving in to Bernie Sanders and AOC and the radical left, and basically throwing Israel under the bus. They are trying to use Benjamin Netanyahu now as the scapegoat to try and salvage their electoral prospects in Michigan and Minnesota because the Democratic base is in revolt. The reality is this: Hamas is a terrorist organization. Hamas is responsible for what happened not only on October 7th, but the aftermath of it. They are continuing to hold hostages, including American hostages. And for anybody to demand a ceasefire, including the President of the United States, and not make it abundantly clear that any terms of a ceasefire must include the release of these hostages is disgusting.
But what about Netanyahu?
And it is putting politics above any other consideration. Look, Benjamin Netanyahu was elected by the Israeli people. The Israeli people will determine who their leadership is. Democrats talk a lot about protecting democracy and not having foreign governments interfere in elections. The fact is, Chuck Schumer interfered in Israeli affairs, and it was wrong. And that is not what we should be doing to our strongest ally in the world. They are defending themselves after being mercilessly attacked. Women, children, babies slaughtered, butchered indiscriminately. Innocent civilians still being held to today, including American citizens. I stand by Israel, and the vast majority of the Republican conference stands by Israel. What you are seeing today is a Democratic Party that is falling apart at the seams, and they cannot allow their electoral politics to be put ahead of the safety and security of Israel and the release of American hostages.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised by your criticism of them, but they may say the same about you after what happened on the House floor today. Congressman Mike Lawler, thanks for your time tonight.